Perfect. All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is true accessible trying. We are all on travel right now, and we are trying to make sure that we have our meeting. Tim, if you are able to drop into the chat for those who would benefit from captioning, there is the CC at the bottom, and we do have a live transcriber right now, and we could see it good on this side. But if you prefer to go through the website, Tim just dropped that into the chat. Tim, will you also drop in the agenda for today? And then we will open this up. All right. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. It looks like we have a little bit smaller. Oh no, we have a pretty good group today. Wonderful. We're so happy to see everyone here. It does look like we do have some new participants. If you haven't been here in a while, or this is your first time, would you mind putting either unmuting and then telling us who you are, what county you're with, and then oh, I'm sorry, hold on. We need to first do our language inclusion. We have both American Sign Language interpreting and also Spanish interpreting available for this meeting. And so we want to make sure that you can choose which language you best want to listen to and participate in this meeting. So with that, we're going to hand this over to Valentina. She is our Spanish translator, and Valentina, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sadie. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Valentina, and I'm here on behalf of Community Language Co-op, here to provide and can guarantee your commitment to language justice. Language justice is a type of simultaneous interpretation that seeks to create spaces in which no one language is dominant, spaces in which everyone can participate with the language of their hearts. So to achieve this objective, we will be using Zoom's function. And what you will see in a couple of minutes is that a new button that looks like a globe will appear at the bottom of your screen on the same bar where you have the microphone, the video, the chat, and all of those other functions. It'll be towards your right hand. When you see that button, go ahead and click on it and select either English or Spanish as both the language that you will be listening into and speaking into. If you're joining the meeting on a phone or on a tablet, you will find the same options by clicking on the button with the 3 little dots in the lower right-hand corner of your screen that reads more. Hola a todos, a todas y a todos. Mi nombre es Valentina y estoy aquí por parte de Community Language Co-op para ofrecer y garantizar su compromiso con la justicia del lenguaje. La justicia del lenguaje es un tipo de interpretación simultánea que busca crear espacios en los que no domine ningún idioma, espacios en los que todas puedan participar con el idioma de su corazón. Para lograr este objetivo vamos a utilizar la función de interpretación de Zoom. Lo que verán en un par de minutitos es que aparecerá un nuevo botón que parece un globo terráqueo en la barra inferior de su pantalla, donde están los botones del micrófono, del video, del chat, etc. Va a estar hacia la derecha. Cuando vean este botón, selecciónenlo y hagan clic en el idioma inglés o español, que es el idioma que van a ocupar para esta sesión. Si ustedes tienen un teléfono o en una tableta para esta llamada, encontrarán las mismas opciones haciendo clic en el botón que tiene 3 puntos y que dice More o Más. A quick reminder for those of you that do decide to use English for this session, Spanish is 20 to 25% longer than English. So please be aware of your speed and of your clarity. And if you have any questions or any issues whatsoever with this technology, please let the whole group know by means of the chat box so that we can work together to address it. Un breve recordatorio, la interpretación es de manera simultánea, entonces si por favor les recordamos utilizar un ritmo de conversación para que yo pueda comunicar su mensaje completo. Si tiene algún problema o alguna pregunta con esta tecnología, por favor comuníqueselo al grupo completo a través del chat. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the channels on, and thanks again for having me here.
Tim, are you getting us in there? Thank you.
I am, yes.
All right. welcome. We'll give a couple seconds so any of you who want to listen in Spanish could go in Spanish, and then those of you could put it in English and select English. All right, so I'm going to back up, and earlier I was asking, we do have some, it looks like some newcomers. We also have some that may have not been attending in a while. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind either unmuting and introducing yourself, what county you're at, what emergency support function you support, if you support one, or if you're a stakeholder or partner, how you're engaging in here. And then also something fun you did this week. Just share something fun that you did this week, because I love celebrating with you, and also you know, we don't celebrate enough, so I want to make sure, so we say. Gabby and I have been together for 2 weeks now. We've been trying to celebrate a lot, so we'll start with that. Anybody who is a newcomer or haven't been here in a while? Oh, Rayan, it has been a while. I forgot you were even part of HICPA. And you're in the case management division. Has it been a while since you've been here, right? Or have you ever attended this one, and you attended other meetings that I remember you on? And we also, and did I say it right? Rayan? Ah, awesome. Yay, okay, it was back in our COVID times that we were really meeting a whole lot more back in that time. Awesome. All right, and then Joe Beth, thank you, welcome. Northwest, oh, we have a healthcare coalition and a resource and referral coordinator. I hope that's what R&R means, unless it's rest and relaxation. I don't think anybody has that title. I think they call those, that's on vacationer time. Perfect. Yay. All right, and Christina Erickson, City and County of Denver, Division of Disability Right Program. Ooh, Christina, nice title, and happy to have you join us. Yay. Oh, you guys are activated, looks like. Okay. Oh, when activated, gotcha. Okay. All right, any other newcomers? Steve Boyle, Lake County. Oh, yay, Steve, are you new to Lake County? I keep getting bounced emails from the predecessors, I think, in that area. And been there, oh, sorry, Steve. Maybe I was mixing you up in a different county. And Anna and Jeanette Hawkins from Jeffco, Public Health. Oh, Emergency Preparedness and Response. So yay. All right. Now, everybody else, if, for after now all of our newcomers, if you will put into the chat, all right, Nadine Nahimana. I hope I said that right, or is it Nahimana? I guess I said it the same way twice, but hopefully I said that correctly. And Northeast Colorado Health Department. Awesome, and you work in Morgan County, Colorado. Well, welcome. Welcome to all the newcomers and the ones who are coming back, and welcome everybody who has been coming and able to come. And so please put into the chat your name, your organization, if you support an ESF or emergency support function, or if you're stakeholder or partner. So, and so I could capture everyone who is here. All right. Gonna bring attention to the note or the agenda, last month's information. We are now gonna start recording this meeting. We got a request from partners who really wanna be here but are not able to attend for whatever reason. And it'll be helpful for us to be, for them to be able to come back and watch the recording. And so, and then this could also help you if you're not able to attend to be able to get that information. I want to bring up a few announcements, and then what I'll do is I am going to ask our 211 or United Way partner to introduce themselves, and then also some of the work that they're working on and with this whole community inclusion planning with approach. The 2023 Colorado Emergency Management Conference is looking for a call for speakers. The submissions are due by tomorrow by 5 p.m. Mountain Time. If you are not able to meet that, email me, and I could also, if you don't know who the correct person is to email if it's not on their information, to ask for an extension. They are looking for some more speakers and asked us to make an announcement. Wanted to let everybody know that we do have a CMIST resource library. Tim, are you able to talk, or would you like us to, you can point to me if you'd like us to talk about it, or you could take it over and talk about the resource library.
Yeah, this is Tim. I can talk about it. I don't know how loud I can be or how clear I'm coming through though. But if I get a thumbs up, then we're good to go. Awesome. And would you like me to share the screen with that up as well?
No, only
Okay.
because of it might mess up your audio, especially because usually your audio is also with your video and your capacity.
Oh, yeah.
Some subject matter expert, Tim, has taught me that.
No worries. All right. Well, again, this is Tim. And just to kind of reiterate what we've talked about a couple of times now with that CMIST resource library, that is a living document that is going to collect the resources that we share in our bi-weekly CMIST resource newsletter. So every 2 weeks, we have that updated with the new resources, updates, and trainings, and the whole thing is separated by your local, state, national, and federal resources. And it has filters as well, so that if you're looking for, let's say, information on funding, you can just go to your information type, you can filter it down to that, and then it'll pull up only the relevant resources within that category. Again, it is consistently being updated, and it is very living, so there's always new resources in there, and all of the resources are really geared for the non-expiration. So they are resources that are good at any time, barring any major updates that makes old information irrelevant. Is there anything you, Gabby or Sadie, would add?
Thank you. If you could put it into the chat, and if you'll send it in both formats in the Google link, and then also if you'll upload it there, if you're able to, please.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about that CMIST resource library? All right, not hearing any comments or questions. I'm going to move on. All right, we are going to be offering some more CMIST response teams trainings. Again, we offer each one of the menu of options of 4 right now, twice a year, and then also upon request, as you want to build in your local community and capacity, your own CMIST response team. And then we will come out and mentor and guide and support until you all feel comfortable to have them go on their own. It's not a one and done training. It is introduction and how you want to build that in your local community. And then we also have October 12th, 10 to 4 Mountain Time. We are going to have a CMIST, CMIST in Poete, P-O-E-T-E, tied to your CEPA, C-E-P-A, Colorado Emergency Preparedness Assessment. And then CMIST is that communication resource, maintaining health and medical independence, is S is support services and safety, and T is transportation. And then POETI stands for planning, organization, equipment, training, and exercise inside your, when you're looking at your 32 core capabilities tied to your CEPA session, CEPA session. And so that one is a 10 to 4 in Colorado Springs. If you are able to be there in person, it is going to be a hybrid event. However, that is hard to be on Zoom for 6 hours, basically. So it is totally up to you, and we'll meet you where you're at on what works for you. And if you are planning on and you coming up and you need hotel accommodations, our in IP Integrated Preparedness Program is able to help get your room covered and supported to be able to attend. And then reminder, if you're signing up for that and you need an accommodation, a language accommodation, please reach out to me and let me know 2 weeks prior to that event. Another awesome opportunity, and I'm going to see if Gabby might be, I'm going to pull up the other screen and then maybe you can do them both. But I'm going to see if Gabby can pull up the Access and Functional Needs Training Catalog. I don't believe we shared this last time. I think we just showed you the draft, and now we're able to show you that it is on the website and where to find that. So we're going to show you where to find it on the website. And she is grabbing that now. I'm sorry, we are not able to see, so we're going to try to verbally describe what we are doing here.
And this is Tim. I dropped a link to the website in the chat as well.
All righty. And then in the website is where we are able to guide you on that. And I think Gabby's going to start driving in just 1 second. Here you go, Gabby. So we can see what we're showing you. We have an accessible, portable, extra screen that we're turning on. It helps with accessibility big time. And so, oops, for some reason it is not in right.
I'm going to go ahead and try to just share this, and we will see how it goes from there. So is the Access website visible on the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management website?
I don't know why, but I can't hear you. Can people hear you?
This is Tim. I'm not hearing anything.
All right, are you unmuted? I'm going to mute you. Oh.
I think that they can hear me though.
No, they were telling me they couldn't.
I think it's because we were muted.
Oh, I was muted?
Yeah. Everybody, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. This is the mic.
Okay. So we have, well, actually, I guess I'll ask again. Is the Access and Functional Needs webpage visible? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just walk through this a little bit, and because we have updated this website quite a bit. And so first I'll put into the chat just where I'm starting out so that if anybody wants to walk through with me, you can. But here on the Access and Functional Needs website, we still have our overview, our purpose, and our contact information. But you'll see our drop-down menu has expanded. And so now we have an Access and Functional Needs Resources tab, in 2022 ASN Conference tab, our 2019 ASN Conference information. So soon we'll have 2023 ASN Conference information.
This is Tim, really quick. I'm only seeing the training catalog.
Oh, we're presenting the wrong screen. All right, switch. Just kidding on the other one, but we will talk about that one too. All righty.
Thank you.
All right, are you able to keep driving?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they're able to see this one now, right? You see the website, right? Okay.
okay, perfect. So then we have our Access and Functional Needs monthly meeting, and we have Access and Functional Needs training resources. And so I'm going to jump down to that drop-down menu, and we are going to see our Access and Functional Needs training resources right here on the website. So we have our Access and Functional Needs training catalog, all of our training flyers, and then we have a training course calendar in which you can see in calendar format those trainings and when they fall on the schedule. And so what's really great about this is that it's a one-stop shop for all of the Access and Functional Needs training. But in addition to seeing when the trainings are, this Access and Functional Needs training catalog is a fully functional description of all of our Access and Functional Needs framework trainings. And so we scroll down a brief overview of the Access and Functional Needs program and how we work to make each training a different phase of the Access and Functional Needs roadmap, and then just a little bit of what that roadmap is all about. So then we actually split up each of the trainings into roadmap phases. And so we have all of our trainings that fall under the awareness initiating phase training, and then the course description, how long those courses are, on to basic understanding, implementing, and then on to advanced. And then we also have our training courses in development. And so when we do have more trainings or when they're not in development and they are ready to be put out, we'll move those up into the other section. And then we have how to request a training through the Access and Functional Needs team, how to register for our trainings, and all of their co-train course ID numbers. And so that really is our new and improved updated website information. And Sadie or Tim, would you add anything else?
Thank you, Gabby. This is Sadie. Right, we're going to go now and stop presenting. And we are going to go ahead and now ask our partner at 211 and United Way, Yale, if you don't mind, do you want to take over and tell us about your program and what you're doing and what a great partner you are? I know that will feel weird, but I'll definitely talk you up all.
Thanks. Hey all, sorry, my internet is not being super stable right now, so I just will not have my camera on for the time being. But I'm Yael Holzman-Castellans. I'm the Disaster Response and Business Continuity Manager at Mile High United Way. And then 211 Colorado is housed in Mile High United Way, so that's kind of like the department that I'm in currently. But yeah, we are working on a few things at 211, so we're really trying to build out our disaster response team within 211. And within that too also is, making sure we're collecting resources that are up to date and active. And that includes resources that are related to disaster response, but also thinking of ways that we can reach out to community members and make sure that everybody has access to our resources, especially when there is a disaster or disruption. So I'd love to get any feedback or any thoughts, resources. I love to brainstorm on this. So if anybody has any thoughts, I can definitely drop my email in the chat, but I'd love to hear from you just to see how we could possibly partner. And we're always looking to update our database with resources. So even if it's not necessarily disaster related, we have over 8,000 resources that go along with rent, shelter, food. So feel free to send those my way as well. And we'd love to have your organization be in our database as well.
This is Sadie. Thank you, Yale. Yes, lots of great stuff. Does anybody have a questions for Yale? This is Sadie. I'm going to give a little story about how 211 was able to support in the Marshall Fire. Everybody, we knew that people were impacted by fire. They were also impacted by high wind and then also smoke. And so there were different resources that community members were able to access. And one of them was donations. And there was communities like they have a couple of trailer home areas that people live in, mobile home parks that people live in, that were not able to get to the donations area. So our volunteer agency liaison here at where we're at, Office of Emergency Management, worked really closely with 211 to be able to offer something a little bit unique and different, specific to that community and the needs there. And so they were helping us design where those who couldn't get to the donation site could still be able to identify some of the resources needed, and somebody would help them either take them there to get shopping or pick it up and bring it back to them, the donations needed. And so it was just a unique thing that that specific community needed support with. And 211 was able to help us find the resources and the opportunity to support our that was an under-resourced and an underserved community that was able to now have the opportunity to receive those services. So just wanted to introduce you to her and then be able to give you some idea on how the 211 and United Way really help our communities when the bad day happens.
Thanks,
and a lot of
Sadie.
times before then.
Yeah.
You're
Could I
welcome.
also, can I add one more thing if it's helpful too, just to give, okay, awesome. Yeah, and I would say just to go off of like just supports for Marshall Fire and just ways that we've, tried to be flexible and also use like what we, like the structures and infrastructures that we have at 211. We have, we've currently paused this support, but we were making outbound calls to folks who were impacted by the Marshall Fire. And that was really just to see, where they were at the time. About like 5 or 6 months later, we started this project in June, working with, other LTRGs, but just to see where they were, what resources we could offer them, and also let them know about upcoming programs that were offered through Boulder County, Marshall Rock, such as like the Recovery Navigation Program that's kind of happening now within that community. So kind of just meeting folks halfway, just in case they weren't able to have that access to knowing about the program, or if they were still looking for resources. So again, just trying to see where we could provide that support, and that's just outbound calls. We also have our LIFT program, as Sadie mentioned, and also we have our translation service, which is TransPerfect. So folks can call into 211 I think we provide over 200 language services. So folks can call in and our navigator can match them with somebody who speaks their language. And then from there, we can get resources for them. And that also works with case management programs too. So if we have an individual that's working with a case manager, we can also connect them to that translation service. So I love talking about these resources, but if you have any questions, feel free to email me as well too. Thanks, Sadie.
This is Sadie. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy you added those other resources. Thank you for remembering that. I sometimes tend to forget about those until, oh yeah.
No, I know there's so many sometimes. Same.
Yay. All right. Any comments, questions? Anything anybody can think of that might be helpful with our relationship on the blue sky day, not on the bad day? All right, not hearing anything. I'm going to move on to our next conversation, which is, last week we were able to attend the LEPC conference. The local, Dave Osborne, can you help me with LEPC?
This is Tim, yes, the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Okay, I think Tim said the Local Emergency Planning Committee or Commission. Yay, thank you. All right. And when we were there, we were listening about funding opportunities, and the area I'm looking at are our CMIST, CMIST response teams, and how are we able to help our rural communities, our communities that have low funding, have limited funding, or even only have limited people resource, like a half-time full-time employee for emergency management. And one thing we learned about, which I thought was very aha moment, was yes, grants, right? We all know grants, and where are those grants at? And I, for the last couple of years, have always thought we have to find the right grant. And then as they were in that conference, they brought up that there's an ability to have us fundraise through a nonprofit organization that you could either create as a nonprofit organization, or we could have a sponsoring partner that's a nonprofit organization. So with Section 501, I'm sorry, I'm not section, here I go. It's a 501c3 organization that may be able to help with they're not doing the fundraising. Your organization or your county could do some fundraising. And what they'll do is they'll allocate it in one of their budget line items towards your emergency management efforts. And I thought this was something that was extremely important to learn about. I do see Chris Rodriguez on the line. Chris, are you by chance able to, did you walk away with any aha moments, or do you have any comments from that conference that you may want to share?
Sorry, I was trying to find the mute button. That was a pretty good conference again. That was the first time I had ever heard about that 501c3. Well, I've heard about them before, but that we could use them to help gather funding. That was a pretty interesting conversation. It's a path I want to see if I can follow somehow. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
And this is Sadie. So, Chris, I'm happy to hear you say that. So with that, I have been talking to a couple of nonprofit organizations, and here we go with another one, the CEPP, the SEP program. Tim, if you'll help me on what that acronym is.
Yes, this is Tim. That should be the Colorado Emergency Preparedness Partnership.
this is Sadie. Thank you. That is also a 501c3. And many of us already participate in a lot of the functions that they offer. If we work with our partnership and we say, hey, we really are going to work with our community, and if we start and when I say we, it's you at the local, not access and functional needs program. We are not able to do it that way. We could help you, support you when you're doing your fundraising at your local area, and try to help you build the partnership with like the CEPP program, or even other nonprofits in your area, to help them better understand how to, when you're doing the fundraising, how to allocate the money back into, could even support an FTE, full-time employee or part-time employee, and being able to help better use that money, that you don't have to pull it out of your budget, but you do have to fundraise for that contract. And you can make it into a contract. So there's a few different levels that I'm going to start trying to bring together a training to help us better identify when we bring in these CMIST response teams to help your community as they grow. Because let's face it, volunteer is not free. There's still costs associated to that people resource. And so, so if we don't have a budget to support it, well, then we'd go without, right? And we're trying to fill that gap of going without. And what started this conversation is we are working for the emergency response interpreter, CMIST response team, CMIST response team. And it was brought to our attention that, hey, wouldn't it be neat if there was a bucket of money that any emergency manager who has a bad day can use that money to pay for their American Sign Language interpreting services, or their translation services as well. Any language interpreting and translating services when the bad day happens. And this is when I had, oh my goodness, we could make this work in so many different ways. And so anyway, I wanted to bring that up. And with that, I would like to see if anybody has some ideas and thoughts about this idea of finding donations or fundraising opportunity to help you better your whole community inclusion in your community. If anybody is talking, you are muted, and then you also are welcome to put it into typing. Just give me a cue that you're typing. Is there a reaction that says typing? You'd have to look for it, and then you'd be waiting. By a show of hands, and that's funny, but your emotion or your reaction of a show of hands, or some kind of reaction there. How many of you have heard of an opportunity about this kind of funding for the opportunities of that whole community inclusion funding? By a show of hands, how many of you, is this the first time you're ever hearing of this opportunity? Ah, yay. Well, we have at least one. Awesome. Yay, and Connie, I'm finally able to see you as well. This was a very eye-opening opportunity that just really has helped me get excited about how we do the next steps. so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find and see if we could ask Tim Gablehouse, the one who presented it, if he would be available to possibly present that information to this group in the next month or two, so that we can learn a little bit more about that. And again, we are starting to record these, so if you miss it, you'll be able to come back to the recording of it. All right. Yay. Okay. Can I look at this one? Sorry, the mice is running away again. The rodents. we decided these little things run away. All right. With that, I want to go around the table and ask for people to do any kind of update that you're working on. Any, if you think the group could help you find any support, or if you're needing support, any announcements, like if you're hiring, or that we could capture and then also add into our newsletter. And so we're going to go round table, and we're actually going to start with Billy, and then we're going to go to Connie, and then Kurt Garrett. They are our subject matters. Uh-oh. Are you guys still hearing me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you. Just your screen is frozen.
Okay, good. Okay, Gabby and I lost connection on her computer, but I was like, oh goodness, I feel like nobody could hear me. They are our partners that come from a Center for Independent Living, and I want to be able to highlight how they're able to help emergency management, as well as emergency management help Centers for Independent Living be partners in your area. And then also when we go to Billy, then Connie, and then Kurt, if you'll identify what counties you also serve, and as well as in your system. Well, we'll start right there, because for the conference, the Access and Functional Needs Annual Conference, we are actually going to do it a little bit different, and we want some other partners to, some additional partners to join us. Some who haven't been at the planning table, such as our first responders, which is law enforcement, fire, EMS, dispatch, any of those partners, so that we could ensure that they're part of the conversation and learning about this access and functional needs resource framework using the CMIST memory tool. So I know that was kind of long, but I wanted to kind of guide you all to help. And then if somebody else has already said it in their other still, at least identify Center for Independent Living, identify your counties that you serve, and then how you work with emergency management, and how you would like to how emergency management to work with you. So with that, we're over to Billy.
Hi guys, as you can see the map behind me showing out here. We serve in the western slopes of Colorado, 12 different counties out here. It starts over from Garfield all the way down to Hamilton, over to Sheffield, out to Mesa County. So that's pretty much our catchment area, 12 counties out here.
Yay. So Billy, can you share how you work with emergency management and how you would like emergency management to work with you?
Well, I'm on a very preliminary, very beginning stage right now, because I just came on board out here in this area. And I've worked with trying to identify who are all the managers in my attachment area, and all the LCC folks, the local coordinators. I've been trying to meet with them. So I'm just still going through the introductory phase at this time, but I've never actually had any formal meeting with these people, except for like the Red Cross folks and a couple county folks that I met with in person already. What we're trying to do, CFI, what we're trying to do, connect with all of these people in our catchment area and say, hey, what we want to do is collaborate with you guys and educate people with disabilities in that catchment area on how and what we can do for disaster preparedness and emergency training, and also to work with the agencies out there to see how we can help you guys better serve our community of disabilities out there. So kind of going hand in hand. I've already met with some of the people on the disability side who want to come on board and help out, but I've not met so many of the officials yet on the county emergency levels, guys. I haven't really connected with them yet. And as I mentioned earlier in another meeting that I was in, we've got a new CEO at our office here. And I'm talking to him right now, trying to work out a game plan that we want to do between now and January to go out there and meet with these people out there and start collaborating and start rolling out some education pieces for the community members and also for the professionals.
This is Sadie. Thank you, Billy. And we're going to go to Connie and then Kurt, and then we'll ask if there's any questions. So go ahead, Connie.
All right. My name is Connie Chavez. I'm an independent living program manager at the Independent Center in Colorado Springs. We cover Park, Teller, El Paso, Lincoln, Kit Carson, and Cheyenne counties, and Lincoln County. So just a big, long home run all the way to the Kansas border. And I have been doing emergency service specialist duties, and then I just got promoted to program manager, so I'm doing a little bit of both. I work with the Pikes Peak Regional Office of Emergency Management often, and I have 17 years of working in the 911 system within El Paso and Teller County, so I have lots of contacts, and we go back and forth, seeing each other at different events and picking each other's brains. And I just went with one of our directors, Deb Walker, to a meeting with Colorado Springs Police Department. They are being tasked with de-escalation training for their officers, and they invited a bunch of people from different communities within Colorado Springs to come and ask them questions and just give them guidance on what training is needed for officers. And so it was a great meeting, and we've been having some fun talking about what they can do and what they shouldn't do and who they should be talking to. And so it's really diverse what's happening right now. I don't have any let's see, exercises coming up, except for maybe, I think there's a pediatric disaster response up in Teller County that's going to be going on. That's 2 days. That's going to be fun. But other than that, right now it's smooth sailing. A little thing we have coming up in the future, though, at the Independent Center is we're working with Comcast to do a tech lab. And so bringing in computers, tablets, phones, games, gaming devices, adaptive technology to help people with that. And that will help when they want to go sign up for peak alerts or any sort of emergency response, emergency notification system and things like that. So we're moving into the I guess the 21st century. We're just a little late, but we're coming. So things are moving.
This is Sadie, and what you just described is you have subject matter experts who are people with lived experience, so that we could learn what we don't know because we don't know.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Off to you, Kurt.
Well, gosh, how do I follow Connie and Billy? They said a lot, you know. I think just reiterating what we've all said, all the different things, but the fact that we are Atlantis. First of all, Atlantis, I'll tell you the counties. We have 7 counties that we serve. Always have to do it alphabetical, so don't forget one. Leave one out because they're all equally important. Adams, Arapahoe, Clear Creek, Denver, Douglas, Elbert, and Jefferson County. Where I was going was that, you know, we are Atlantis is truly, most centers for independent living are disability-led organizations, from our board of directors, you know, down, you know, to part-time people. our staff here is, I think someone said recently, like over 65% of us have some type of disability, and we're talking all kinds of different disabilities too. So to be able to come to us for advice, you know, on you know, truly inclusive engagement, you know, I think Centers for Independent Living are such a huge tool that you can use. And I have to throw in there, we all have financial issues. We're all grant driven, most of us, at least Atlantis is. So for me, like Denver's asked me to come and be part of their mass care DOC, but we need to know, for me to be able to do that, there has to be some funding opportunity. I personally have paid out of 5, 6 different grants. So, you know, we have to really, really be careful. As much as we want to participate in everything, I always have to say time out and say, you know, how are we going to end the financial into that? So MOUs and those types of things, you know, any advisory things. One of the things that I've been reaching out for is more people connected with the public health end of emergency response. So anybody that is interested, you know, that is in that, I want to connect with more here in those 7 counties. And I could go on forever. Sadie knows I like to talk, so.
This is Sadie, and I appreciate that because I learned so much when we do talk. And if you, Billy, Connie, and Kurt, if you'll put your contact information into the chat. Kurt, I have a quick question. Sure. Are you a nonprofit organization?
Yes, we are a nonprofit organization.
Interesting. Yep. So now that we're learning about this donation stuff, we may be able to find a way in there. So that's all I wanted to ask about that. Yeah, and Jeanette, are you wanting the Center for Independent Living, or I do not know of a EMS committee in Denver Metro? Maybe my subject matter expert, Dave Osborne, might know.
Sadie,
or were you wanting the Center for Independent Living?
Sadie, can you hear me?
Yes.
You said that for the upcoming AFN conference, you would like more first responders. I was mentioning that I can connect you with the Emergency Medical Services Committee, and then get your first responders out.
This is Sadie. Thank you, Jeanette. I was putting emphasis on a different area in that. And it's funny, I have to ask Gabby and Tim, what lens am I reading this in? I'm missing it. But yes, and Jeanette, I would love for you to be able to, if you don't mind, giving me the contact information, and we'll start reaching out to them and seeing if they could find some partners that could attend. So thank you.
This is Angie. You are very welcome.
Okay, thank you. All right, I am now going to have Julia. Julia, do you mind talking a little bit about your big projects that you're having and anything we can do to help? Because I think we're in the right audience here.
Sure. So we just got funding from the HICPUF office, our Healthcare Policy and Financing, to do a 2-year program and helping distribute backup power solutions to people who are on life-sustaining devices and are on Medicaid. And so we will be doing trainings that are both be virtual as well as online for the HCBS, or the Home and Community-Based Services waiver people, their staff, and then also for individuals and their family members. And we will be distributing, there'll be applications, but we'll be distributing backup power solutions, which may be generators and they may be portable power supplies. And then we'll also be distributing some go kits to individuals with minimal stuff inside. But it's all very specific to people who are on life-sustaining devices, and we get to define what that looks like. So we probably won't get this really going till after the first of the year. But we'll be getting all that information out as soon as we possibly can. And if you guys know of people who need backup power solutions, you can have them apply. And we have this whole process in determining what size of backup power they need and what will work with their house to make sure that they get what they need and it's going to do the job that it needs to do.
This is Sadie. Thank you, Julia. Ryan, by chance, are you involved in any of that? Or is this the first you might have been hearing about this program? It is housed out of healthcare policy and finance. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. With that, any questions for Julia on this project? And Julia, is there anything we could help with in supporting you through this?
So once we get started, just helping us get the word out to individuals so that we can do this. So the project is $8.5 million. And we have to have it spent in a little over 2 years, which is like spending like crazy. So if people can help get us connected, that would be super.
This is Sadie. You got it. Yay. All right. With that, I wanted to move on to any of our public health partners or that are on the call. Do you have any updates or anything you would like to share with the group, or are you needing anything that we as a group can help you with?
This is Anjanette with Jefferson County Public Health. We public health agencies in the region are kind of reimagining our emergency response plans from lessons learned from COVID and all the disasters that have happened here in the Denver metro area. And we would love to get an AFN lens on our plans. So I will probably have our committee discuss kind of having a representative or somebody that would like to look at our emergency response plans and see how they look in your viewpoints.
This is Sadie. That is right up our alley. So yes, we could help, and then we could also we could support there, as well as after we support, we could also connect you with some of your subject matter experts in your area as we help them better understand the ask of being able to support that. So we actually have been trying to put together a planning review committee, that out of our Homeland Security Advisory Council, HSAC, Access and Functional Needs Subcommittee, to be able to help any plans that come that way. Then there is a panel of us who can all put, and then it's with people with lived experience to be able to, 1 second, sorry, somebody's being a little loud. All right, okay, sorry, it was just right by us. With lived experience, to be able to give you a plan with approach and subject matter expert view of that. So it's not a plan for people without people. One of the mantras as people with disabilities is nothing about us without us. And that's a little broad. However, if we say, all right, nothing about you without you, this is what we would like to learn from you. And then it helps us get a little bit more clear on what we're asking, such as with us using that access and functional needs resource framework of by saying, hey, people with access and functional needs are any community member who needs access to CMIST resources in order to function, before, during, and after emergencies, then we're able to at least say, hey, what are your community's CMIST resource needs? And going from there. And this is Sadie. Todd, I know you just joined. You might need to, at the bottom, get the language of your choice you'd like to listen to. If you could give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear us in English, or if you wanted to go in Spanish, at least say to let me know you're in the right room. Awesome. This is Sadie. Thank you. And then we would drop in if you need captioning. You will be able to and we just had somebody else join us, so we're going to drop it here in just a second. I think Tim's going to help us because I'm on Gabby's computer. My computer, thank goodness, right after we did a report, and I'll talk about that for exercise we came and became, we were evaluators for here in Kentucky. Anyway, so I'm having to work off of Gabby's computer. So that is helpful when we're working with our partners with lived experience. We also are increasing our opportunity and working with our people with lived experience who have cultural support, our agriculture partners, and different under-resourced, underserved communities to help us better understand what we don't know because we don't know. And it just helps us be able to learn from each other. With that, any questions so far? And that was our ESF 8 partners. And Jeanette, did that help? You can do a thumbs up or unmute.
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you very much.
All right. And this is Sadie. It just reminded me, just wanted to let everyone know also that FEMA's independent study, the IS programs, a lot of them are now available in Spanish, if not all of them. If you have stakeholders or community connectors you're wanting to work with in emergency management, we could start having them do the training in the language that they best understand and communicate in. So just wanted to throw that out as well as a resource. And then I am going to move to our ESF 6 partners. Do we have any ESF 6 partners who might have some updates? Not hearing any ESF 8 partners. I will let you know that Amy Both-Sievert from our Office of Emergency Preparedness and Response does have a few positions opened for a few positions opened in her office. She's now going to move. She is growing as well in her whole community inclusion area to. I think they're going to be a team of 4 total, and then and so now we're even force multiplying your people resources here at the state to help support you at the local level. So this is the way I understand it, and I learned from one of my mentors, our regional disability integration specialist. He said, Sadie, it is locally, we're an at-home rule state. Locals get to decide what to do. The state supports the need of the locals, and then when the bad day happens, federal funds it. Now, sometimes there's obviously there's some grants that are also able to be funded that fund some of this work as well. And so just wanted to share that information with you. Kathleen, are you, I thought you were ESF8. Are you ESF8, Kassemeyer? Let me make sure I said your name right. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, but I don't, my supervisor's actually off, and she's not on this call, so I don't really have any updates.
This is Sadie, no problem. Yeah, thank you. So, Janet, Janet, you are ESF8. Janet, do you want to give us any updates? Janet, are you? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh yeah, I finally found my unmute.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm not actually in Colorado. I'm in Illinois.
Oh, okay. I thought you were Janet Byringer. I
am.
apologize.
I am Janet
Oh,
Byringer.
what are you doing in? Did
My
you move?
daughter had to have some heavy duty surgery and then she got an infection. So I'm here working remotely, taking care of her.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you for doing that.
But I don't really have too many updates other than when I get back, I'm still working on my one project. But in the meantime, I've been here for almost 3 weeks. So
Cool. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Oz, Dave Osborne, would you be willing to do an update from some lessons learned, or maybe some 3 ups and 3 downs that happened with that big concert in your area of support or area of service that that you would like to share that we could learn from as we plan for when we plan for big events, but with a whole community inclusion in mind?
Sure. This is David. I thought Janet might say something about that. I know Swatch County has worked really hard to make this Live Nation Seven Peaks Festival a successful one. They had the after action review today, and all in all, I think things went pretty well. This is their first year in Villa Grove, but it's also the single largest event that has ever been sponsored in the San Luis Valley. So I think we had between 12,000 and 13,000 guests for 3 to 5 days for this music festival. So maybe an annual thing. And Sadie had reached out like she does and how she's built this program with us to remind all of our whole community partners that to keep CMIST and access and functional needs in mind in these plans. We shared that with Live Nation folks, and I think that's kind of rose to the top and something that's going to be looked at as it should as a ongoing priority in planning. So we're hoping for good things there. What else we got going on? So I heard you mention we have the IMT conference coming up next week in Grand Junction, and I think Sadie, you'll be presenting at that, I believe. After that, we've got quarterly meetings in Winter Park for a couple of days, so we'll be there with our field managers from field operations, and emergency managers in the San Luis Valley are continuing to work on their hazard mitigation plan. This is to keep in good graces with FEMA. So we update this every 5 years, and we're in the update right now. So we should have that knocked out and done probably by March of next year. So good stuff there. We're also investigating the chance we might start a San Luis Valley Fire Commission. A lot of areas have fire commissions and have nonprofits that are act like fire commissions, where they can be warehouses for grants, different kind of monies and projects locally or regionally. So we're working on that right now. Hopefully we can get to fruition. And that's, we're kind of taking a breath. It's been a busy couple of weeks. The San Luis Valley Emergency Managers also do an annual retreat. So we all got together, all of us, every one of them participated for 3 days at a place called Brown Lakes in Hinsdale County. It's one of the most remote counties in the lower 48. But we had a great time up there, did some planning and some good work. So a lot of stuff going on, but we're anxious to get into fall. And any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
This is Sadie. Any questions for David? And Ed Duvall, we are going to mute you. We're getting you back unless you have something to say, and we're waiting for you. I am going to go ahead and putting you on mute. Oh,
Hello,
hello.
this is Ed.
Hi, Ed. Do you have
Sadie.
an update you were wanting to share?
I wasn't aware that I was giving an update.
No, no worries. You're just unmuted, and I was just going to mute you because we were hearing your background.
Oh, I see. Well,
Okay.
I listened to all your meetings. Certainly
Great.
impressed by everybody, but I didn't really have anything to add.
This is Sadie. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you and giving us that feedback. That's how we measure success of what we're doing. So thank you for sharing that.
I think you're doing great.
Oh, thank you, Ed. We're trying. We're trying to get it right, one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, Veronica, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Veronica, and I am an HCP consultant at CDPHE, and I'm not sure if this is the proper space or if this is the proper time for me to share an update.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
okay,
please.
I just wasn't sure if we were going by phases. I just wanted to quickly, okay, thank you for the clarification. I just wanted to quickly share that so as an HCP consultant, I work for the Children and Youth with Special Healthcare Needs team, and we work with different agencies or public health agencies across the state of Colorado and guide the implementation of the HCP program to provide services for children and youth with special healthcare needs. And recently, well, not too recently, but back in July, we started a how to prepare for everything training. And we are planning on new and future trainings for anybody who would be interested in participating. And I will share more information in the chat, but if anybody's interested in participating on this train the trainer opportunity, please email me. I will also include my email in the chat, and then we're hoping to get these trainings going. The training that we had in July was for the general population or anybody who's a service provider, but the plan is to focus this training on children and youth with special healthcare needs, and also children and youth who identify as having multiple medical conditions and also an intellectual developmental disability.
This is Sadie. Thank you so much, Veronica, for sharing that. And if you're all right with it, we'll also share it in our biweekly newsletter. Would you like
yes,
that?
Once we have the next training, I can definitely forward you that date and time. But for right now, I guess if anybody's interested in a future training, we are adding emails to our interest list.
Sadie, thank you, Veronica. Thank you for sharing that. Yay. All right. Any other updates anyone would like to share? I know I went through some of the emergency support functions, but now it's just open floor. So anybody like to give an update? Share a resource? Ask for support or need? Right, this is Sadie. Hey, Todd, we have an out-of-state partner who I is my mentor. I learned so much from him, and he's actually one of a counterpart in Washington that has helped their state develop a position in Washington state that's similar to ours here in Colorado. Somebody looking at that whole community inclusion in our emergency support function 5. And so I'm wondering, Todd, do you have any updates or anything that you think our group would be able to benefit from or be able to help you with, or just some information about maybe something that's coming up? Would you like to share?
Hey, thanks, Sadie and Gabby. This is Todd. Yeah, we do have that position that you helping us to develop white paper, which ultimately has gained us the position for a disability access and functional needs position at Washington Emergency Management Division. And that would be, of course, CMIST from top to bottom. And they're in the process of doing the final interviews for candidates for that job. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, a big celebration time up here. And thanks so much for all the help Colorado provided. A couple of things that I think from an equity lens, looking at what's going on right now, similar to Colorado especially, is we've got wildfires scattered around the state. And Jim House, who is our the director of our Coalition for Inclusive Emergency Planning, was talking with folks, and there was some concern that the county where one of the fires is used YouTube video to let people know about evacuations. And of course it was it didn't have the captions live. So we're talking with them about how to add captions, and that to me could turn out to be a promising practice. And I say that because I know in Colorado you guys have done such a wonderful job with your Broadcasters Association to get sign language interpreters in the scene with whoever's talking about whatever the alert may be. And Jim is talking one-on-one with that county to help them understand that they can get supports for the captioning in that regard, but also talking about other public alerts and warnings when it comes to reaching the entire population. So people who are deaf, blind, etc., making sure that they're getting the warnings that they need and are not being put in a unsafe environment by being told that they can go back to their homes but be prepared to leave again, which seems to come up more and more often on the West Coast now. But beyond that, there are other things that I think are in line with what we're doing around the country around CMIST and access and functional needs. But that one just comes to mind right off the top of my head. And of course, we're ready to start transitioning with our folks, with our new person at Washington EMD.
This is Sadie. Todd, thank you for also letting me put you on the spot. I always like hearing it, and unfortunately, the last 2 weeks I haven't been able to get my weekly update. We do have Kurt that helps us get some of that information, but it's nice hearing you and getting some of that information. So thank you. Any questions for Todd? All right. With that, I'm going to do one more last call out. Any other, oh, by the way, last minute, oh, I should share that resource or any other request or concerns? All right, I'm going to give you a brief update on what Gabby and I and Tim have been up to. I think we shared that last week we were at the LEPC, Local Emergency Preparedness Councils, or committees, alrighty. making sure I do that one. And then this week, Gabby and I came out. I'm training Gabby on looking at resource or full-scale exercises in a CMIST resource lens. So no matter where we're at, if we're in the State Emergency Operations Center or the local Emergency Operations Center, if we're viewing it from a public information lens, recovery center lens, a decontamination lens, wherever that is happening, what we have done is we have pulled together, we're looking at it in a lens in those areas. And so we were invited to come and look at one of the recovery centers in one of these counties. And we did that CMIST. We looked at their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities and threats. And then we tied it to the statute that supports that feedback that we're given. And we also tied it to CMIST to help with that shared language and also to help them with their ability to fill that resource gap to be able to save life and property of people with access and functioning, people with disability, those who need access to resources in order to function. Really neat opportunity, a different way of being able to provide information back in a way that is well received. We were able also to give them some ideas on, hey, we see you have a language translator and interpreter that speaks 5 different languages. Maybe if you have your signage up in those 5 different languages, that would also increase the ability to serve your community. Another one is they did a really neat just-in-time disability awareness opportunity with the group before they open, as they arrive to get set up for the the reception area. It was reception, right? Okay, yeah, in the reception area. And so we just gave, hey, that's a great opportunity. Hey, the threat is that you're not in an accessible area for people who don't own a vehicle, people who cannot walk far, and people who use a wheelchair. And even though your bathroom has an accessible sign, it is not accessible. And then another opportunity is they haven't switched over to the person first language, so it's still a little bit of labels. And so we just gave them a few. Those are just a high level example of how we were able to help them and support them with that information. So with that, any questions about, and this is helping us also help us over in Colorado as you do some of your full-scale exercises, your tabletops or whatever way. Any questions? All right, I am not hearing anything. So one final call out, any last, any final call outs on, or last sorry. Oh my goodness, I got circled around because somebody's talking behind me and my brain is not able to multifunction. Must be all this wisdom. Anyway, any finals? And if not, I am going to bid you all a very happy Friday Eve. We won't be in until midnight Mountain Time, so it's going to be a late one. So I don't know how available any of us will be tomorrow. So, but if you need us, we'll still respond. So, all right, everybody have a wonderful Friday Eve and a wonderful weekend.